Welcome to Manifest Weight Loss, episode 4, where we are going to be diving into the concept of consumption. More than just our food, we are constantly consuming all around us. So we're going to dive into how that can assist us on our weight loss journey, becoming aware of all that is impacting us daily. And when I make mention of certain things, listen for what lights you up. Listen for what really attunes you to, yes, that's something that I'd like to add in my life or subtract in my life. So lots of information coming at you today. So let's get started. So, the idea of consumption in the terms of weight loss, but also in metaphysics, is that with metaphysics, we want to take the more holistic approach. Holistic meaning whole, wholesome, and that we are more than the sum of all of our parts. We are the all of it. So here we are, we have a physical body, we have thoughts, we have emotions, and we have this non physical self, this utter awareness, this pure potential that's inside of us, that taking away all the thoughts and emotions and our body, we are still fully present and aware. Knowing that and getting that inside of us is this wholesome self, that means that everything around us is constantly connecting to us. We are connected to all of it. So the idea that we are just eating food, ingesting something, and that's what's playing a role in our weight loss journey is just one piece of the puzzle. So we are talking about it's beyond food. It's beyond what we are currently putting in our body. All around us has an impact on our well-being. And when I say well-being, it means that our whole self is well. And so let's start with looking at all around us, meaning our environment. So when we wake up in the morning, we are stimulated by our what we see, what we hear, what we taste, touch, smell. Our five senses is currently taking stock of everything around us. Consider that's consumption. That is playing an impact and a role on our current moment. So if we take a look and bring awareness to our, let's say, our current environment. So our home, our office, our places that we go to often. What is our environment saying to us? What stimulation and are we receiving? So let's take a look. Right now, I'm currently in my office, and you may be driving, you may be in your living room, you may be working out, who knows? But right now, just take a moment and look around and see that all around us, we are experiencing some sort of consumption. We are taking in information always. So, what does your environment say to you? Are you inspired? Are you uplifted? Is it cluttered and you feel heavy by it? Just taking notice. That's what this moment is about, is just being in awareness, observing. And when I say observing, I'm saying observing without judgment, meaning negative judgment. Can you just be with what you see around you? If you want to add judgment, there's good judgment and negative judgment. So, good judgment could be that the I love my office desk. I love the people around me. I love so placing that appreciation for that what inspires you and taking note of maybe what doesn't inspire you. So, if there is a piece of your life where you are tolerating something and it really actually does have a negative impact, great to notice. Is that something that is important to you that you want to take on? And if so, great, put it on your list. It's just awareness. But seeing that we are always receiving information, we are consuming always. They say our subconscious self is receiving all data all the time. And it's our conscious mind that is receiving only, and of course the numbers are all different, but something like 10% of what it is that we are taking in is what we are consciously um, receiving. So with that in mind, knowing that we are taking it in, whether we're noticing it or not, has an impact on us. Now, also, what is really interesting is when we take on something important, like in this case, weight loss, when we place an intentionality on our day and we are setting ourselves up for, something that we're guided towards, we have a vision, we have a quest, we have a purpose, we have a goal. When we have that sort of intentionality, on our mind, on our conscious mind, we actually have impact now on what it is we consume, what it is that we choose to be consciously seeking. So even though the subconscious is still taking it all in, when we have an intentionality in life, now all of a sudden our awareness is peaked for that we're up to. How does this really matter when we are taking on weight loss? Well, as we as we wake up in the morning and we remind ourselves that this is important to me, this is what I'm up to, as we start to go about our day, we will be filtering out specifically to have that intentionality pull towards us. So we might overhear a certain conversation that inspires us. We might gravitate to a specific book that leans towards us. So the universe helps push and guide and has us see and seek that it is that we're looking for. So it's a beautiful co-creation in terms of what exactly are we consuming. So what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we smell, what we are interested in, what we're craving, all of that is and can and will come from our intentions. We are manifesting whether we know it or not. We are constantly in a guidance system through our emotions and thoughts on what it is we're up to, whether we are conscious or not. So the intention with this podcast is to keep reminding ourselves what is important, getting it in the forefront every single day as much as possible so that it can be the voice that's louder in your day. It can be what you're looking for every moment. So it's just a practice. So our environment plays a very great role in terms of having our environment support what's important to us, also guides us with reminders. So, for example, I have in my office a list of exactly what I'm intending. And so that if I am mindless and I glance over, I see it, I'm reminded, now I'm mindful. And so, where in your day can you place things in your environment so that you can consume it at different points? Whether it's some people set reminders on their phone, it's just getting that in the forefront and conscious so that it can be what you are aware of. So visual consumption also, so not only our environment, what we see, but also what it is you are watching, for example. So what programs you have, what podcasts you listen to, what music you enjoy, and really the question today is, how does it make you feel? How is it impacting you? And does it align with what's important to you? So taking stock of what stimulates you, how does it stimulate you? How does it make you feel? So talking about mindfulness, really getting what we can be conscious of is the game of mindfulness. It's a practice, it's a muscle, it's like going to the gym. The stronger, the more you do it, the stronger you'll get, and actually the easier it becomes. Just like practicing picking up weights, the first time you do it, it might occur as really heavy, but you keep doing it, and it actually strengthens that muscle. And over time, you pick up the weight, and you're like, "That was easy." So it's similar to mindfulness. So a great practice on being mindful is to actually be intentional. So take something that can be pretty straightforward in your life. It could be making the bed, doing the dishes, going for a walk, things that are common. So being mindful is a practice, and how we can do it is we can take on something that's very straightforward that you do often without even thinking about it. It could be making the bed, doing the dishes, going for a walk, something like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to be as conscious as possible. How do we do it? So let's take the dishes as an example. So you're going to set out to do the dishes. Now, this time though, you're consciously going to be mindful of the dishes. So you're going to be using your five senses to tune into your actions. So you're doing the same thing, but this time, are you noticing the temperature of the water? You're noticing the sounds that are occurring as you're doing the dishes and placing them. You're what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? All senses. And you're just tuning in, and it's a practice. And when you're done, it doesn't feel like anything's changed, but what's happened is you've just strengthened a muscle. And why you continue to practice doing this in different areas, catching yourself, oh, right here, I'm at the red light. I can be mindful right now. What am I hearing? What am I seeing? And just being ultimately in observer mode can be a great practice, because what happens is over time you catch yourself more. You allow yourself to be more present. You notice yourself being more present because it's a muscle that starts to cultivate. And why this ultimately is a great practice is because in moments when in previous times we were not conscious, and being not conscious had an impact, all of a sudden we can be aware in a moment versus unaware. So if you're having a disagreement, all of a sudden you can become very aware and alert. And what's available in these moments when previously we were unaware and now we are very aware is we can now tune into the environment, tune into the person, to the feelings that we are experiencing, the thoughts we are having. We can really take it in, and it's almost like time can slow down. And in those moments, we can respond versus react. Now, why this matters in the world of weight loss is because we are creating something new. We are on a new journey, and sometimes we might not have been here before. And so, in those critical moments where, for example, in myself, if I'm, let's say, going out for dinner and the waiter says, "Would you like dessert?" Previously unconscious, my first response would be, "Yes, I do." And then before you know it, you've just ordered yourself dessert. And then later on going, "Oh man, that's not what I wanted to do." So with the practice and cultivating a mindfulness, when the waiter next time says, "Would you like dessert?" there is a moment of pause. There is a moment of consciousness where all of a sudden it's like what I'm up to is right there. And I have the ability to say, "No, thank you, not this time." And it's like, "Oh my gosh, I did it. Something new," right? So we're creating those moments of space where we're fully present, and we have right then what it is we're up to. So it's a practice for being conscious and mindful. And if it gets skipped and we miss it and we do the thing we don't want to do, that's fine too. Like it really is a practice, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't, but we keep doing it. We keep carving that time to be mindful, carving that time to slow down so that we can create those moments. And over time, it works. It's about it's not about a place to get to. It really is a journey because each moment will ask of us different things. And as our life goes on, next year we might be up to something different, but this mindfulness will never go away. It is a muscle that builds and it evolves and more gets created as we go along. Another thing to tune into around consumption is the people that we relate with, the relationships that are important to us, people that are in our lives often. But also, it includes everyone, really, like the person that we bump into on the street or strangers we have conversations with, but really, interactions with other people on earth have a very strong impact on us, and we have an impact on them. And so, consumption goes as far as what it is we're converting our conversations with people. So, what are we saying? What are they saying? And being mindful of the language and the words that come out of our mouth is very, very enlightening, actually. So, when we have a conversation with someone, that conversation can actually propel us. It can impact us. So imagine sitting at coffee with someone who is just such a delight. They're funny, lighthearted. They just make you laugh. They're inspiring. And 1 hour coffee with them, just you can feel how they impact you and the energetic lift that you are given just by being around someone who's being that way. And also, we are that for others. So someone's with you for 1 hour. What energy are you giving off? And what energy are they giving off? And it's all about awareness. So who we surround ourselves with can impact us. In the world of weight loss, it can be something just to tap into. There are people who are our cheerleaders, and then there's people that maybe are not. And it's about awareness. So if we're around people who maybe are not as supportive, how do we want to navigate that energy? If we're around people who are supportive, how do we want to navigate that energy? And it's all about tuning into your own guidance system. So for you, you might have someone on your mind that you're thinking of. And if it's someone who does not support you, to just give yourself the space to tune in to be like, what do I need for myself right now? How can I navigate these emotions? And because ultimately it is about consumption. So just recognizing that there are people who impact us, how do we want to respond? And doing the work at home when we can take time and sit with it and actually lean into imagining and visualizing scenarios where they are you are feeling negatively, then you can play out in your mind different ideas, or you can ask the universe to guide you with how to navigate these scenarios. So it's putting in the mindfulness work so that if that scenario comes, there is a new response possible. And these are just places to look at and to see which ones resonate with you or not. And when you do have people in your life who are your cheerleaders, definitely it feels good to surround yourself with like-minded people who are your cheerleaders or also on your journey as well, and that you can really connect with and that they can be there to inspire you and you can inspire them. So It's really about seeing who are on your list and reaching out and connecting with them. Another thing for consumption, like I mentioned, is that what it is we're communicating. So being conscious of our language, the words we say, the stories we're telling, um, and just being mindful. So take today, for example, and as you're conversing with people, what are the messages you're saying? What is the narrative? What is the tone of your words? We can actually gain a lot of insight into what's really going on subconsciously by listening to what we're saying and looking at the stories we're choosing to tell or how we're telling a story. What is it you're trying to say? What do you think your subconscious is trying to reveal? And it's about observing it and leaning in and help gain insight into where you're at. How it works with weight loss is, as we're on this journey, it can be confronting. We can have moments where it feels like perhaps things aren't going the way we want. And so, can we tune into the messages that we're trying to say? Another way to do it also is to sit with a journal and just open up a journal, blank page, give yourself 10 minutes on the timer, and just write. Don't worry about making it look neat and tidy. Don't even worry about reading it again. Just free flow. Allow yourself to just start, and it really could be I am frustrated that, or I am feeling this, or today this is how something went. It could start with a situation, a person, a story, or you could just even start with, I don't know what to say, but here I go. And then just allow the words to flow out. Allowing ourselves that space to empty our our thoughts and our feelings allows for our subconscious to flow through. And talking about consumption this week and our connecting to our observer self and our conscious self, we can't forget that we have this subconscious self that is sitting there with all of our past experiences, our past feelings, our past emotions. And some of those past experiences are what's keeping us from excelling where we want to go. And so, can we create a space that allows our subconscious to just release what it needs to say, release the feelings, release the thoughts, and and it can gain amazing insight into what's perhaps stopping us or getting us stuck. So, uh, one of the great processes that are available that has really helped a lot of people have lasting change through their weight loss program is to challenge our limiting thoughts. So once we get ourselves either journaling or in a dialogue with another supportive person, we can really start to see what's underneath. And as we tune into what's going on underneath, any limiting thoughts or limiting beliefs that show up, when they start to reveal themselves, this is great. This is like gold because we can start to see a certain view that we have had on the world and on perhaps our previous judgments on weight loss journeys in the past, what we think is why we're stuck. It is fascinating to really turn inward, taking a moment and giving ourselves space to allow these limiting beliefs to surface. When they surface, it's first of all so healing to allow them to surface. So even just having them surface is the work. Secondly, if you want to do more work on it, is to do what we would say step two, which is to challenge the limiting beliefs. So if I say, if I have a limiting belief that, and if this has happened to me, is I've gone to the gym, I worked out my muscles, and I stepped on the scale and the scale went up. I have a limiting belief that working out at the gym is going to have me gain weight. And left unattended, it will impact my strength training workout. So if I keep strength training and I see that scale go up, it's going to further confirm my limiting belief. And then I will quit. Like, that's pretty self-explanatory because what's important to me is to lose weight. So this is a great example. So it's left unsaid, it's great. Like, just even noticing that I have that limiting belief is huge because I can start to do something with it now. So challenging your limiting belief means that you want to give yourself space to see, is there another way? So I love the saying, not necessarily so. So now what happens is I give myself space to challenge this limiting belief. I can start look for new evidence that goes against what's keeping me from going to the gym. So can I look for evidence in literature, books, other people who have perhaps started weight training and they gained weight, but then they say, "Don't worry, it'll just wait a bit. It comes off. You just it's water retention, it's lactic acid." Like, so all of a sudden, I'm getting new information, and I'm challenging the belief. If I start to see other people who've had that experience and then they end up losing weight, great. Counterpoint, and continuing on. So anytime we have a limiting belief, the idea of challenging it is going to be the breakthrough. So it's basically not allowing us to get stuck in that belief system and letting the belief system hold us captive to that experience. So where there's a will, there's a way. And with the universe at our back, on our back, having our back, we really can have new information. The other thing with challenging a limiting belief is, like I said before, is now we are consciously looking for new evidence. That means the universe will put in our space information, people, what we need to support ourselves. It could come from other thoughts we have. It could come from our own past where we've gone to the gym and lost weight. It could come from a book that we heard. The greatest thing was I was at the gym yesterday and I overheard a guy asking another guy how his workout, what he does. He was just like thirsty for this guy's routine and what he did. And I got to overhear everything that was challenging my limited belief, and I just giggled because I said, "Thanks, universe." And that's because it's exactly what I needed to hear. This guy was like, you just got to put the work in. And he even said, "Don't even step on the scale for a bit." He actually said that. So there it is right there, is that sense of knowing that we are on our path and that all we're doing is just getting laser focused on where we want to go and seeing that we are supported and guiding and getting whatever's in our way out of our way. It's a process, it's a path, and it takes trust, surrender to take this extra time that it takes, because ultimately, when we do the inner work, we are transforming ourselves. We aren't just going on a fad diet, restricting calories and getting in and getting out. We want lasting change. We want a lifestyle that we can really ultimately be so satisfied in, so lit up in, that when we wake up in the morning, we just are who we are because we've done the work. We're not fighting against ourselves. We really have cultivated a beautiful life that supports our purpose and our mission and what it is that we're intentional about. So it's a journey, and it's an inner journey, because what my limiting beliefs are may not be your limiting beliefs. So that tuning in and connecting with ourselves daily and being aware daily of what it is today that I'm up to and how is the universe supporting me, it creates a a new path where we are connected to our higher self. We get guidance from inner intuition, and there's a freedom and an ease that happens when we do the work now, because we're starting to clear away so that we can wake up in the morning and eventually we start to see things are becoming easier because we've done the inner work. So lastly, I want to chat about how this comes full circle is gratitude. When we are grateful, gratitude is probably, I would say, one of the most sacred. um, it's said it's said a lot. Be grateful, be grateful. List 5 things you're grateful for, um, and it can become something that you have to do. And that's great too, just doing gratitude. However, I love emphasizing the point that gratitude is a way of being. Like, it also can connect, we can connect to gratitude from a sacred place, from a place from where there's honor and kindness and compassion for ourselves. There's this inner sinking sinking in and connecting to who you really are, and from there finding gratitude in everything around you. To put gratitude on everything that you have around you and all the things that you're consuming is it's like putting a blessing on everything. When we are scanning our day and putting gratitude on all of it, whether you do it at the end of the day or one moment you just look around and just say, what can I be grateful for right now? If I look around, every single thing, putting gratitude on anything you can think of starts to create this new relationship and appreciation to the thing. And when we can put gratitude and look at everything is just so aligned with what you're up to, and that everything that you have around you is put there for you, and to be thankful for it and grateful for it, has a new realm open up for you. And the example I I did was I went in my fridge and I just was grateful for everything in there. And we're even talking about like the leftovers that didn't get eaten that I needed to throw away, and the 40 billion jars of condiments, like, just really being grateful for all of it and putting my gratitude on everything. And what ended up opening up for me was a real gratitude for my family, in that inside the fridge is are things that were put there. So my husband wrapped up something that he knew I was going to enjoy, and then I had put in there some food for him for so he could take it to work, and it was already ready to go. And in these little moments, it's just food in our fridge, right? But by applying gratitude to all of it, had me really see who we are as a family, how we support each other, and how much nourishing food was in there, and how proud I am that we are all in this together kind of feeling. And all that all that came up just out of me placing gratitude in my fridge. And so that's what's available when we place gratitude in our lives. So yeah, so just to recap this week, it's about awareness of the relationship we have to everything, and how we have such an impact on the world, and how the world has such an impact on us. And we're never alone. We are in this and interconnected with everything, everyone, everywhere, at every time. And so and seeing how all of that is in support of you in support of your mission and your intention and what you're up to, and how we are all divinely guided in every moment. And when we can tap into this conscious moment of applying awareness and gratitude, we really are fully in alignment, but we are enriched, and we are on a different path at that point. We are on a sacred path, and that's what this podcast is about. And I just want to thank you for taking time and listening to episode 4, and tune in next week for episode 5. Have a great week. Hey, it's Kelsey from The Junction. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with anyone you think this could be of value to. Also, if you're looking for more accountability and structure around your weight loss and you're enjoying how the metaphysics can really work in your life, I've created a 12-week weight loss course designed for you. It has daily check-ins, daily lessons, questions, and prompts for you to really immerse yourself in the content and have lasting results. Go to junction.today/weight loss to find out more.